Good morning. I want to take you through some just basic stretching moves today that I think you can do some of these from sitting, and for those of you who stand, you can do them standing. There are some leg moves that are in upright standing position, but I want to take you through these because these are just great gentle stretches that you can do in the morning. One thing I want to talk to you about real quick about stretching is that um, when we stretch our muscles, if they're cold, think about Play-Doh. I have kids, and so when they take Play-Doh out of a container and they pull it apart, it breaks, okay? So, but if they shape it, they mold it, and they get it warm in their hands, it's stretchable, they can do things with it. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind about your body and about your muscles. So if we're stretching morning muscles that aren't fully awake, they've not been moving, they're cold. And we don't want to cause injury from overstretching. We do want to stretch and get our muscles to relax, and it helps to fight against inflammation in our body. I know as a child growing up in gym class, I hated stretching, and it was because I had so much inflammation in my body that it really hurt. And it wasn't. I'll be real honest with you. I did basic stretches after working out and stuff like that, but it wasn't until I had my knees replaced and I went through my first round of physical therapy ever, and I realized that how good my muscles and everything felt post stretching. Now, I've been working in the fitness industry for many years. I started working in a gym when I was a senior in high school. I just avoided it because I didn't want to experience that pain. I liked the pain that I got from a good workout, but I did not want to go through the pain of stretching. It was agonizing for me. But I have since learned that if I go into it gently and easy, and I just increase, it's just like anything else you do, especially with exercise. Your starting point is your starting point. My starting point was my starting point. And so that's what I want. I want us to just I'm going to show you some basic stretching moves that I do. And I showed you the other day the little movements and stuff that I do to get my joints going. And you can see my arm is not quite as bent as it was. And it's because I've just been consistent and persistent with moving it and stretching and doing things with it and reaching. So these are some of the things that I want to show you this morning, okay? So one of the first steps, we're going to start with our arms and upper body. One of the first steps that I like to do, and I'm going to use this arm first, is put my hand over my head and put my palm towards the ceiling. And I'm just going to push up, like I'm pushing the ceiling up, okay? You want that hand flat, like it would be flat against the ceiling if you could touch it, okay? And just hold it there. And a good rule of thumb is about a 15-second stretch, okay? So just in your head, you can count to 15. Now we're going to switch over and we're going to do the other arm. Same thing. And you just want to put that palm of your hand just straight up. It's stretching your wrist. I mean, literally, I can feel this stretch from the tips of my fingers all the way down my arm. And so just push, 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 push. It goes into my shoulders, my sides. So it's a wonderful, wonderful wake-up stretch. So then the next one we're going to do is we're going to grab hands. We're going to clasp them. And we're going to just reach up. Just reach, 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 okay? And then I like to, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, and I want you to just lean, a nice lean, and push with this upper arm. Just push over, stretch out the sides. Just a nice, nice stretch, okay? And then we're gonna go over to the other side. Here we go. Just reach, reach, reach. I keep getting off center, don't I? And just push, push, push just a little bit more so with this top arm. Great. And then you're going to bring your arms just down to your side. Just like this, palms forward. Show you one. I'm wider than the camera. iPad. So palms forward and just push back. When you push back on this, it's getting the middle of those rhomboids in the middle of your back. And so that's what you want to do, okay? You want to make sure that you're feeling it back there in your back. You're going to feel it down your arms as well, okay? Now the other one is a little bit difficult, and well, it was for me when I first started. So, but you're going to stand, I'm going to stand sideways so you can see. Just clasp your hands behind your back, and you're going to just gently raise your arms. Just gently raise those arms up. It's a little tight this morning. I mentioned the other day that I'm in physical therapy. I don't know if I said physical therapy, but I was having shoulder issues. But I'm in physical therapy for some shoulder issues. And so this is a really tough one for me to do right now. But either way, it still relaxes those shoulders. Just let those shoulders relax, okay? So now, gosh, I hope you can see this. Now we're going to go with, move this just a second. We're going to go with our legs, our lower body. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to step out, and you're just going to put the left leg behind you. Keep your foot on the floor, the heel on the floor. Don't come up on your toe. Hands on your hips, and you're just going to bend that right knee. You're just going to kind of sit down in it, okay? So you're going to sit down. You're just going to bend that right knee, and you're going to feel the stretch from your ankles all the way up the back of your leg, okay? In this leg, you're going to feel it in this quadricep. You're also going to feel it in your glutes and your calves. So it's a double do. You're just doing it different, and you want to hold this. You'd never bounce. Never bounce in a stretch. You want to hold them. Then when you feel your muscle, if you want to stretch a little further, when you feel your muscles relax, bend that right knee a little further. But don't raise that heel up off the ground, okay? All right, so let's turn. And we're going to go this way. So just sink down into that. I could feel it in my knees. One of the things, if you've ever had knee replacement, I don't know if this ever goes away. I'm 2 years out. But the tops of my knees, the tendons right there where they had a joint around my knee from my quadriceps are just always so tight. So this is a good stretch. Anything where you're doing that you're bending your knee is a good stretch. And this one, when you're holding your leg back, you're going to feel it up through this area of your body too, okay? So now the next stretch that we're going to do is just stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to take your right foot and you're going to put it out just in front. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's like you're just going to put your foot out right in front of your foot. Let me move this back. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Okay, let's see if I move this back, if that makes it a little better. Maybe a little bit. Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to take your right foot just about a foot's length in front of your toe of your left foot. You're going to flex your foot up with your toes on your right leg towards the ceiling, and you're going to gently bend your left knee, and you're going to come down, and you're going to gently reach for your toes. Just gently reach for your toes. This is a great stretch. Now you may need to, if you've got really stiff muscles, you may need to just slowly work your way down. You might only get to this position the first time, and that's okay. You hold it there for 15 seconds. And then if you can just keep going down and just reach down toward your toe. You don't have to touch it, but you can reach down toward it. If you can touch it, that's great. Once you're there and that muscle relaxes, if you want a greater stretch, you simply bend this knee a little further, okay? It's amazing. So we're going to turn around and do the same thing on the other leg. So we're going to put it about, I'm going to put my left leg in front this time, and do it this way. I'm going to put my left leg in front, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bend my right leg, and I'm going to reach down. Just going to reach down and touch my toe, okay? And remember, if you can't go all the way down, go down as far as you can and stop and just hold it. Your muscles are it's going to get easier the more you do it, okay? So just like this, just reach down. It's a great stretch. You feel it all the way up the back of your leg. You feel it in your glutes, your back. Wonderful, wonderful stretch. The next one we're going to do is we've done some exercises for our stabilization muscles in the workouts that I've shown you. So we're going to do some side stretches. You just need to lean over, put your feet flat on the ground, toes facing forward. You're just going to slightly bend. Just slide, just bend over, keeping this leg straight, and you're just going to hold it. Now, if you want to go down even lower, you can do this. You're going to get a greater stretch, okay? So then we're going to go over and do this side. Same thing. Just hold it static, don't move. Just hold it right there. That's a great move. Back up to our upper body. We're going to do what I call cradling the baby. So you're going to take your right arm, bring it across your body, just at your elbow. You're just going to cradle that arm and pull it in. Just pull it in. Good. And just hold it there. You should feel it all down your arm, around the back. It's a great, great stretch. Okay, switch arms. Go over here to this side. This one's a little more difficult for me. So I got a bad elbow on one arm and a shoulder issue over here. So you just hold it. And stretching is going to relax your muscles. You should have a lot more range of motion and movement when you stretch. Now, another good stretch is that I like to do is an overhead, where you just reach over. It's going to do your triceps, this back part of your arm. And so what you're doing is you're just basically taking your hand and patting your back, and then you reach over and you just gently push down. Gently push that arm down just a little bit. And then we're going to do the other side. So take this hand, pat your back. Here you go. Hold it. Okay, so those are just a few basic stretches. There are a lot more, and I do teach a class. I don't do yoga, but I do teach a class that's about basic stretching. It's called Just Breathe. I'm going to be offering that live on a Zoom, and it's about an hour-long class. And so it's going to involve just some really good stretches that you can do, and it's really great for beginners. We will be on the floor for some of those, so keep that in mind. But if you have an interest in participating in starting your body off with stretching, and yoga isn't your thing, or you just don't know about it, that it can be a little bit intimidating, the name can. So really, the Lord just told me to just do your own program. And so that's what I did. And so if you would be interested in that, please just message me or leave a comment. You can email me at sharon.dailyliving@gmail.com. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about real quick is your why. Why? Why do you want to get your body healthy? What is your why? And even my why for wanting to bring this program to you. It has nothing to do with me, but it's all about, my why is about, I want to be obedient to the Lord and what He's asked me to do. And I'll be really, really transparent. I don't know if I shared this with you before or not, but the Lord spoke to me about 3 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, that I was supposed to get back in front of the camera. And I used to do a daily living talk show where I sat with people and they shared their testimonies, and we're going to be doing a little bit of that on here too. But for this fitness side of it, you know, the Lord was just saying, I want you in front of the camera. I want you back doing this stuff. And I was like, there's so many. I feel so inadequate, but I was letting myself, fear, doubt, and unbelief stand in my way. They were standing between me and my obedience to the Lord. And I had a pastor, And he's a really good friend. I love him and his family to death. They're just amazing people. And he just said, turn your back on doubt, fear, and unbelief. Turn your back on it. If you're staring fear, doubt, and unbelief, if you're staring at it, then it's in front of you. You are giving it authority. You're putting it in front of you, and it's standing between you and your obedience to the Lord. So just turn your back on it. Turn your back on it. Forget about it. Just leave it behind and keep your eyes focused on the Lord and what He's asking you to do, and just do it. Because here's the thing. You might not feel qualified. I don't feel qualified in so many ways to be doing exercises and teaching this, even though I've worked in fitness for years and I've worked with a lot of people with disabilities. And so I for whatever reason, I just doubted myself. I was afraid. And I just kind of had to get past that. And I just had to say, you know what, God? I am miserable because I am being disobedient. And I want to be obedient to you. And you have equipped me to use fitness as a tool to reach into the lives of people and to bring them closer to you. God doesn't want us living our lives in a broken state. Although, brokenness is there. It's real. It happens. Most of the time we end up broken because of choices that we've made and not being obedient. And I've gone through that, and I don't want to go through that again. I want to listen to the Holy Spirit. He's a constant companion. He's a counselor to us. And so I want to listen to Him, and I want to do and go and be the person that I was created to be. I don't want to be who Sharon thinks she could be, because that person pales in comparison to the person God said, I'm creating Sharon for this purpose. So He created you for a purpose too. And do you know what that is? Do you know what your purpose is? And if you don't know, I urge you to seek that. I urge you to just surrender your will to God's and let Him guide you and just teach you and show you. It can be a slow process, or hey, He can do it like that. So it depends on your willingness and your obedience. And some people just don't want to give up their own will, and it's a battle of wills. And so they want God's will or my will. Well, I don't know what tomorrow holds in my life. I don't know what the next second holds in my life, but He does. So who am I going to rely on? My unknown thoughts, beliefs, and thoughts, or the one who knows all things? And I choose Him. I hope you will too. And I'm sorry these videos get a little long, but I really want to hope that these are just inspiring you and encouraging you to seek God's will for your life, and don't be afraid. And if you have to, just literally turn your back on doubt, fear, and unbelief, because that's not part of God. Okay? Thanks so much, and I hope you have a wonderful